Hi, Amy. We're so excited you're here with us tonight. And I want you to just tell a little bit about what you do because, I've worked with you right from the beginning, but you've made some exciting changes in your practice. So if you want to talk about your Live Equip and what you're actually doing.
Yeah, Sue, thank you so much for having me. I started Liv Equipped, goodness, I guess I've really been all in for about 3 years now.
Mhm.
And I'm an occupational therapist, so I provide in-home occupational therapy and specialize in home accessibility, home modifications, provide home assessments, and um, I also work with the Older Adults Home Modification Program and have contracts with other nonprofits in the area where I provide home assessments and recommendations for those modifications. Oh, well, and also I was getting a lot of referrals for pediatrics, so I actually ended up opening up a pediatric clinic as well. So that's so
Yeah, I
super
remember.
busy.
Yeah, I remember all those discussions right at the beginning, and then you did what was on our initial chat certification program. But what really inspired you to get into home mods as a specialty within occupational therapy?
Well, I actually, in high school, I wanted to go to college to become an architect. And after I started down that path, I was like, no, I really want to be an OT and maybe I'll flip houses one day or something. But throughout OT school, learning about the environment and changes that you can make to make improve accessibility and safety. And I was just like, wow, I can actually blend these two passions of mine. But I'm like, I have no idea how that looks. And then went through working in home health and really just saw there was such a need for that and decided that I was going to go after it and came across your program and really just I'm someone who I will take the leap, but I want to have all my ducks in a row and have a good foundation and really understand what I'm doing and especially when it comes to Medicare and just want to be sure I'm doing everything the right way. So your course really helped me out with that.
Yeah, that's great. And you have such a passion for helping clients age at home. And how, over the last few years, as you had your own practice, how has that grown? How have you seen? I mean, because you talk about peds as well. And I thought it was just going to be aging at home when I started my home months practice, and over a third of my clientele were peds. So how has this all blended together for you and that passion grown in this time frame?
Yes, I just really wanted to be able to serve everyone across the lifespan. There's such a need, and a lot of times we get stuck doing what we're doing, and people are having a hard time, but they're used to doing that. And so they'll continue doing that, and they don't really know what's out there. So just really being able to educate the community and people as a whole is in what we do and what we do bring to the table and how we can help people to live their life more fully and just make their daily activities easier.
And if I remember correctly, you're in a somewhat rural area too, right?
I am just outside of Birmingham, so, but I work on the older adults home mod program that covers 20 counties. So I'm all over the place. I do see a lot of rural patients as well.
Yes. And so you talked about Medicare and stuff, but what were some of the hesitations or misconceptions you had before starting in home mods, and what's changed for you since then?
Um, I mean, really taking that initial leap is a little scary or intimidating. Billing insurance and Medicare, understanding all of the ins and outs, that was the biggest piece. So once I had a better understanding there, I just felt more prepared.
Mhm.
Um, and sorry, what was the rest of that question?
Oh, just any misconceptions or hesitations?
Misconception. Um, and it gets tricky with people who don't accept Medicare. I just feel like you are leaving out a huge population that really needs our services. And I wanted to be able to provide that to them and have them be able to utilize their benefits, you know?
Yeah, that was kind of my biggest misconception too, is that I thought when I started this, I could be all cash based.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, this whole population needs services. And I realized that I needed to bill. And then the other thing for me was the Medicaid, the home and community-based waivers,
Mm-hmm.
being able to serve those. But looking back, what's been some of the most rewarding moments or experiences you've had in home mods?
I love the ones where someone's like, hey, I just need a few grab bars. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. Let's go through this and kind of show me what your daily routine looks like. And we go through their activities, and I come up with a long list of just minor recommendations, but they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was out there, or that's made such a difference. I didn't think that something so minor could be such a big help. And I just really feel like that's where OTs shine. Um,
Mhm.
really being able to make life easier.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's not just, doing a checklist. You're there seeing how
Right.
clients do things and in their real environment, and that is what helps you make that big difference.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Now, how did the Certified Home Accessibility Therapist program, how did that work on changing your approach on what you did and your assessments? Because you also have some other qualifications, but there was still hesitation for your OT role before you did this course, right?
Yes, as I mentioned, like I want all of the knowledge. I don't want to go into anything blind. I mean, having worked in home health, I felt comfortable working with people in their homes, but when it came to specific diagnoses, whether it's spinal cord injuries or Parkinson's, and just I wanted to really have a good understanding of some common recommendations, or what the future might look like and different things like that. Just that perspective that your program offered was so insightful and really gave me a great place to start. I just think having that foundational knowledge was huge, especially from the OT standpoint. A lot of the other certifications are either generalized or um, not really something that helps us as OTs when we've already got our OT background. So your program really helped that perspective from an OT. How are we going to look at this home? Where do we start? And just how does this all come together?
Great. And that really gave you the confidence then to go out and build on your practice,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. And now you've noticed some areas in your community. How did you hook up with the older adults home modification grant? What was that like then being able to build that into what else you had?
That was, I mean, amazing. That was just a God thing, is the only way I can describe it.
Yes.
I happened to look at some job postings and saw that and was like, wait, what? This is exactly what I want to do. And so I called them and they're like, hey, we just posted that yesterday, but we desperately need an OT. And I was like, well, I have all the qualifications. Like, let's talk. And just immediately hired me. So it was perfect. Perfect timing, everything.
Yeah, that is amazing. I'm really glad to see that with you.
But
You
I
go
will
ahead.
say the other other ones have not happened quite so easily. I have one contract that I worked on for like 2 years to get. So it's definitely a lot of education and really being able to highlight what we bring to the table as OTs.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely one of the things that we focus on in the chat certification too, is looking at what is your role specifically and why are you different from a contractor,
Right.
right? Which is particularly, in our new module, which you should go back and look at, we've updated like the assessment modules and some of those things. But
Okay.
one of the things is, what strategies or lessons have you learned going through the chat and now going through putting it into practice, um, that have been really helpful for building your business?
Um, really just having like the different assessments and being able to back up what we're saying. Like, yes, we're going through and we're observing all of this, but this is my reasoning. I just had a client the other day that I was there for OT. I wasn't really even there for home mods. And they're like, yeah, we're remodeling our bathroom. I was like, oh, really? Let's take a look at that. And he's like, yeah, we're going to put a grab bar here and a bench there. And I'm like, well, actually, if you don't mind, I think that this would be better. And this is why. And just really being able to have that knowledge base, and being able to explain, like, this is why, this is what we do, and that's why we work well with contractors rather than just going with what they said, because that really would not work out well. So just having that framework in the back of my mind, is helpful.
Yeah, that's so true because you know the contractors, well, I always say you wouldn't want me hanging drywall. Um, or tiling, though I've done it. But the same thing about understanding how people are performing occupations and getting away from those standard ADA type recommendations because every client is unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to therapists who are considering moving into home mods but feel unsure of where to start?
I mean, I would definitely recommend your program, but even just practice measuring things in your own home. That was one of the things that made me so nervous starting out, was like actually measuring in front of people and just not having that experience really. So
Uh,
practice at your home and just kind of think, if I had a walker or a wheelchair, like what would I do here? And kind of go through some different scenarios and practice.
Yeah, that's a really important point. And then the other thing, of course, is then your clients surprise you, right? Because nobody does everything exactly the same way as you would.
Yeah.
And you think when they describe it or something else, oh, that's how they're doing it. And then you actually see them in real life and it's
Hmm.
so different.
Yeah. Especially when
Yeah.
they say, "No, I don't have any trouble with that." And you're like, "Okay, well, let's look at it."
Uh-huh. Or they describe what the bathroom looks like. I mean, when you're working in the home, you get to actually see it, but
Hmm.
it's very different often than how they feel or how you interpret what they've said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, the other thing is, and you talked about that plan that you helped with them address some of the concerns. What do you do about things like addressing aesthetics and some of those things with some of the clinical judgment or the clinical goals related to what's needed for safety?
So that's when having that rationale and explanation really helps. Like, this is why I feel this way. Why I feel this would be the best solution for you. But at the end of the day, it's their home. So as I want it to be aesthetically pleasing and not look like a hospital. So we just really have to research and find the right choice for them. And
Yeah.
kind of meet in the middle sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the good things with our Home Safety Pros grad program. We bring equipment suppliers in and look at different options and stuff, which is really helpful with that.
Yeah.
Um, so the other thing is, are there any myths? Are there anything that you would recommend to others? Would you, I mean, I see so many people leaving our profession, getting really dissatisfied with productivity standards and all of those kinds of things. What would you say, is your practice being an answer to that? I know it's not easy starting out and there's lots of, admin stuff, but what about that job satisfaction and keeping you motivated and learning in this field?
I mean, it is so rewarding. If it's something that you're interested in, I mean, definitely it's worth the risk. I mean, and there's a way to do it carefully. So I didn't just all of a sudden jump into it. I took courses and was still working my job. And then I kind of backed down to part time and started my business and let it grow a little bit, and then dropped down to PRN. And so I still had my kind of a backup plan if things did not go the way that they should. And just I did it as safely as possible while growing my business in the process.
So would you give up your business now and go back to work for someone?
Not a chance. I pick my kids up from school almost every day and still get to do what I love. It's well worth it. There's still, like you said, there's a lot of admin. It's not easy by any means. There's a lot of admin and a lot of late night documenting and writing up reports. But being able to stop and be with my kids and get everyone fed and into bed and all of that time, I mean, I would not trade that.
Yeah. And it's true. I never sure that I could go back and work for someone else, to get that done. Um, what is it that keeps you motivated to keep learning and innovating though? Because you've picked up some different grants. I mean, you have the older adults home mods. What was the other one you just got? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Um, this one is it's called the Panda program. So it's for
Mhm.
clients with dementia, or at risk for dementia, which they say is anyone over, I believe, the age of 65. So they serve quite a few people. Um, and just they provide a lot of different things. Home modifications are one piece, but also like um, food insecurity, helping with just facilitating appointments or transportation and different things like that. So that one's really a great program as well. It's a smaller, I think like 4 counties, I believe. So it's a smaller program. Um, but they also follow the clients for like a year or two.
Yeah, that sounds an innovative program for OT to be involved in. How did you
Mhm.
discover it and how did you like get to be part of it?
That was 2 years working, working on it, meeting and just staying in contact and just being like, hey, remember me? How are things going? And really just be showing interest in them and what they're doing rather than this is who I am and this is what I can help you with. Yes, we got there, but initially it was, wow, I'm an OT. That's a great program. Tell me more about it. And going at it from that angle.
Yeah, it's really kind of the key when you're working in the community, right? It's
Hmm.
like um, really showing that you're caring about them and that community and the population they serve.
Right.
Um, Catherine, are you on there? Do you have any questions for Amy?
Yes. Mm.
Hi.
Hello.
How are
Thank you
you?
for coming on. And I just wanted to ask, I I think y'all kind of touched on it already, but my first question is for the older adult home program, who is it that who posted that job when you saw it?
So that was the nonprofit. It's actually a national program, and I don't think that they issued it this year because of all I think that was during the government shutdown. They typically release that in like October, November.
Yeah.
And so I was really bummed to see that they did not release that option this year. So I'm hoping that they'll pick it back up because it's such a great program. They actually released back in August or September their findings over the last 5 years, and it's really been showing like the effectiveness in
Mhm.
reducing hospitalizations and falls, and the reports are great. So I really hope that it can continue.
What type of nonprofit was it that which nonprofit applied for that grant?
Our area agency on aging.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's the our what is it? ACL. The Help me out, Sue. It's been a long day.
Okay.
Our
Oh yeah, it's a
independent living. What is it called?
yeah.
Our independent living.
But it's like your local communities, aging
Yes.
department people.
Well, they're not, and they don't.
Is it Administration for Community Living?
Yes, because each state
Yes.
has multiple ones for like different areas. So that was the group that applied for that one,
Okay.
and this is our second round with that one, that program actually.
Any nonprofit or like fire department or whatever along those lines, they can apply for it. City government can apply for it. And I do have a YouTube video on the grant and the things around it so people can look at that has really specifics on it. But I think, and this is where Amy, you were talking about working and staying in contact with all the nonprofits in your area. That's how you got the Panda Grant,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being able to know what's happening, helping them understand some of what you can contribute to are all parts of that piece.
Right. Definitely.
So I wanted to
Independent
ask,
Living Center. Sorry, that's it. There are independent living
Okay.
center.
got it. Thank you. And I wanted
Yes.
to ask in for your business, how much of it are you, how much of your income is by billing insurance or getting paid by these nonprofits? Like, what do you do more of?
Mm, probably actual Medicare, maybe like 20%.
Okay.
And the nonprofit side, probably 50%, and then the rest private pay.
Okay. And then my last question, I thought I heard you say some of the services you provide are not all home modifications. So some of the grants you're with, you're just doing skilled OT services?
I provide in-home private pay OT or through
Okay.
Medicare as well.
And just traditional skilled
Mm.
OT. Okay.
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I think that's answered a lot of questions, but I think, you said you wouldn't give up this area. And that says
No.
a lot when you're happy about doing it and you reflect that in the services you provide and the skills that you've gained to do that. Um, so thank you so much for spending the time with us and just sharing that.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
No,
And
it
thank you
really
for all
was.
your help. You've been with me for years.
Yes, yes, I remember all those first home mod classes and everything.
Yes, all the questions. And even when I first got started, I would come to you with clients like, hey, this is this is a first. What do I do here?
Exactly. Catherine understands that perspective well because we meet on Wednesday nights for our Home Safety Pros grad group, and we always have a case piece or we're updating information.
Oh,
And
great.
I
yeah,
saw a patient today and they live in a new home and the ceiling is out. They wanted me to look at the bathroom. And I swear the ceilings in that house are 12 to 13 feet tall. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, and they wanted a transfer pole, but I'm like, yeah, I've never seen ceilings that high in a house. So I'm like, well, I don't think we can do a transfer pole.
yeah, some of the new homes are putting in that tall. Ours is 10 foot, but we can get a transfer pole that will do 10 foot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know it was at least 12, but I think
Yeah,
it's higher than. So
yeah,
Wow.
I always get
Yeah.
really fun ones.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
But I think the cool thing about having a group and support is, you know where you can turn when you have to try and problem solve or come up with a different
Hmm.
solution.
yeah.
Hmm.
And there's that camaraderie amongst us all if we need it to be able to reach out and try and find some answers. But I think that's also the fun part of this, right? It's kind of like problem solving on steroids to some degree.
Yeah.
hmm It's fun bouncing ideas off each other and different perspectives. It's helpful.
Yeah, that's really good. All right. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice to
you
You
meet
so
you.
much, Amy.
too. Y'all have a good night. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.